So almost every choir you give what is happening. What message gets sent to the galaxy or more? For this choir, number 10, the one that was scheduled but not scheduled. The one where light workers came that should really be here. The ones that were called to be here, perhaps not understanding that it wasn't totally for themselves. What's the message? Well, the common one, we're here. Number 2, we're still here. But this choir, and we're changing Earth. And that's the big one. Why else would this entire series exist? To let those know from the stars that this particular shift that they knew was coming all along, the precession of the equinoxes, that which was told by the indigenous, foretold by the indigenous, as being a test that you'd either pass or not, and you did. They've been listening. But just having stayed is not enough. Because with the activation of the nodes and the nulls and the timing of them, they need to hear the rest. That something is happening here. And that was the plan all along. Pineal tones. What does it mean to you? Have you heard about that particular part of your body and what it's supposed to do, or what others say it does? Almost traditionally, those esoteric thinkers have thought that it is the window to the soul. It lines up with the bindi mark of the Indian. Pineal, thereby, is also a communication device, you might say. And the tones are just that, designed to communicate to those who seated you. How do you think they know what you're doing? Have you ever thought about that? Ever thought about that? Did they send an emissary to the room? How did they know you'd be here when it was a change? There are some multidimensional things going on, you might say. Do you think it has anything to do with chromosome 24? It always did. But here's what I want to tell you in this channel. The pineal. The pineal belongs to you. It's in every one of you. Number 24 belongs to you. It's in every one of you. There may be an idea that you come together with a group, you sing tones that go someplace and do something, and then you leave. Did you pull it to yourself? Did you understand that you sitting there doing this, it goes both ways? How many of you know that the pineal tones, as they're sung, as they exist, are healing tones for the individual? There have been so many cases in these 10 years where those who have heard the tones or practiced the tones and have learned them well enough to come here have said that in the process, even before they got there, they also had a healing. That somehow the tones turned themselves within and did something with the vibrations that healed themselves, that healed the individual. And there's more. Those who study music, especially esoteric music, those who analyze tones and what they do to the human being, will all tell you there's something magical, not about a certain frequency. Some will say it's just this frequency or it's that frequency. But the truth is this. It takes two. That the magic, the healing, the messages, the communications is in the interval. It's how one tone reacts to another and sets up and creates an overtone, which then becomes a multidimensional signal that can go anywhere. But I want to tell you right now, as you sit, the biggest place it could go is inside you. Do you think you could really sing a message to the stars and not have something happen inside? How many of you carry hurt here? Abandonment here. I know who's here. Loss of love here. How many of you carry the hurt of the heart from those you've loved and lost? Doesn't seem to want to go away. I know who's here. There are so many things that these tones are targeted for, because these are tones of compassion. Tones of compassion, telling the star mothers, the compassionate ones of the stars, that you're doing something to change the compassionate ratio of the planet, and at the same time, it's going inside of you, perhaps to heal a broken heart. There are so many opportunities for each one of you here to understand the smaller picture as well as the bigger picture. Yourselves, the smaller picture. Your heart. It even can heal that which is from past lives. It can heal all of the things that you carry in with you. This is the pineal. This is the way it was designed. It communicates in the intervals to you personally. I wanted you to hear this. I've never spoken this way before on a stage for a choir, because this time is different. Things are starting to align in such a way that the intervals are finding their home in yourselves. They're finding a home in the trajectory not only of the stars, but inside to that soul of yours. That's why you came. I want you to look at this as a healing session, as well as that which is a pineal tone session to the stars. And that is the way it was designed. It really was. It really was.